Welcome to Life Planning 101, brought to you by Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services in Eastland, Texas. Tune in every week as we share important information to help you and your family live life on purpose. Insurance, investments, legacy and tax planning, and much more. All covered now on Life Planning 101.
Here we are with another episode of Black and White Market Minute on Life Planning 101. Matt Ervin and Aaron Kennedy with you this afternoon. Aaron, after kind of a big day yesterday, we're going back down the other way.
Yeah, gave it all up. Yesterday was such a weird day anyway. You know, the market was positive early, or the futures were positive. We got the inflation print. It came in higher than expected, still 8.2%. And the market just melted away, got down about 2%. Just an incredible day, and you know, I was excited. Came up to the office, I was ready to start buying. Got sat down in my chair, and the market was up 2%. So
what a swing! That was crazy.
What a swing! And I've heard lots of reasonings behind for that dramatic swing, but not a whole lot of them make sense. I think it all crawls back to the market's just looking for a reason. It wants to go up so bad. And, you know, the inflation was about the same as it was before then, so it wasn't a shock one way or the other. It was much higher than what they predicted, but, you know, we all live in the same country, and we all know that things really aren't easing up. Right. So it's good enough reason to jump in.
Well, and to your point, it's kind of, I can't say it's fully baked in, but, you know, we're pretty well anticipating another 75 basis points this month, and then even perhaps that same move in the following month. Is that right, Aaron?
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. The odds are very, very high that we're going to get 75 this month. Next month's is a little cloudy because, you know, he's going to get up and talk, and depending on what kind of pressure he's gotten from now until then, he could easily change his mind. But if he's doing what he says he's doing, which is fighting inflation, and he's going to keep pushing until unemployment breaks, then he's going to keep raising.
Right. Well, and he's getting those pressures from all over. I think we touched on it last time where, you know, internationally they're starting to bark at him a little bit too. So,
yes.
But, you know, we want to kind of dive into something today. We had a speaker last night at one of our events that talked about, it was a great perspective, you know, and basically it was, this isn't going to get fixed with inflation or interest rates. Interest rates cannot fix the problem that we have.
No, I can't fix it at all. We're supply. We don't have goods. We're fighting over the last tomato at the grocery store, and that price is going up.
Right.
You know, it's just like an auctioneer. I'll give you $1 for that tomato. Well, I'll give you $1.20. I'll give you $1.30. Right. And that's where we're at. Nowhere did I say I'd pay lower if interest rates went up. Hey, I want the tomato.
Can you go back over that chant? It sounds like we get a second job here. When we get to be auctioneer, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Right. But so to your point, you know, it was interesting to listen to. So sticking on agriculture, right? You know, the fertilizer, we all know it had a big role, but I don't think even domestically. I mean, we're not even talking internationally. The drought and the fertilizer had huge impact.
Yes.
And the way we can see it easily is cattle and hay prices, right? Corn prices, things of that nature. That doesn't include the impact that Ukraine's having, obviously with their headwind of Russia, to say the least, right?
Ukraine is huge agriculturally. They produce, and they ship it all the way around the world. And I think it's safe to say that they're not really producing a whole lot right now. Just look over the last couple of months. When Netherlands, they backed off of using fertilizer, so their crops are going down. So there's a lot of things happening that's going to keep the price of food high.
Well, and tell me the direct correlation between how interest rates are going to help the crops produce. I mean, that's what Powell's saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just check.
I'll give you a good example. Interest rates are higher. I can afford less land, so I can produce less food.
Right.
So you get to eat less because interest rates are higher.
And that's somehow going to bring the price down. So we know that's not going to work. And another interesting thing was copper, right? We talk about copper a lot being a driver. I had a big aha with that, you know, because apparently we can find it, copper. It's we can't get to it.
Yeah. Everybody go Google a copper mine. It is one of the ugliest things on the planet, and it is just a gigantic hole. And the hole is so big, you have these dump trucks that look like ants. And these dump truck tires are about 8 foot tall. They're one of the biggest machines you'll ever see. And that hole will be so big, that dump truck will look like an ant.
Is that the ones that go round and around and around?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can't make that. You can't dig that hole in a year or 2 years.
Right.
You got to get down to the copper, and then you got to start bringing it out. And once you get it out to the top, now, where do you get it to where it needs to go? We still need rail lines, infrastructure as roads. There's lots to it. And I think what they were telling us last night, it takes about 8 years. And I think that would be a bare minimum.
Right.
It's not like we'd be blowing and going after 8 years. We would have the access to start getting it out.
Right. And I think that was on some of the easier access ones. But I think you even said, it could be 15 to 20 years on some of that hard to reach stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's not a quick fix. And again, just to drive the point home, interest rates are not going to make copper more available. Things are going to be more expensive to purchase.
How do you
equipment.
buy the dump truck?
Exactly. So, that's another big point. And another thing I thought was quite interesting was, some of the supply issues we're having on oil today are really byproduct of 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, decade. We have not been investing in our oil and gas industry in a long time. Not like we should. Hopefully everybody knows we used to be the number one producer of oil in the world. Number one.
Not
we
anymore.
were awesome. No, we handed that back up to OPEC. They are such good friends. Venezuela, yeah, we should trust them.
Yep.
Saudi Arabia, yes. We handed it back to them.
Yep.
Here's the thing. Once the economy turns back on, we're not going to have these goods to fuel the economy. So we're still going to be fighting for that roll of copper or that diesel to drive our trucks. Those prices have to go up with increased demand. We're not there right now. We're recession, right? We're using less and less of it, so those prices are lower. At this point, they're lower. And once we turn it on, hey, we're going to have all new, fresh price pressures. And interest rates wouldn't have affected any of it.
That's right. So, but that provides to, kind of flipping the script. We try to, as much as it doesn't sound like it this Friday, we try to keep it positive, right? We're trying to look for opportunity, but commodities are still a place to look for the future, right?
Yes.
It's a decent buying opportunity. There's no, Aaron said it earlier, it didn't go all in, didn't pick in the day. It's you set it away, you wanted to trickle over time, kind of play the game.
Yes.
Right?
I don't think we're at the bottom yet, and there's still going to be opportunities regardless of where the market goes or how fast the market turns. But this is time to change our mindset and start to get excited. Hey guys, this year market's down 25%. That's already happened.
Right.
Why not take advantage of it? I don't think our portfolios are down 25% as a whole. So let's take some of our dry powder and buy something.
That's right.
Hey, what about this? If you go to Dillard's or someone else, you buy 2, get 1 free. How's that sound? That's where we are in the market. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. It is an exciting time, and it's not a time that we just take everything we have and dump it in. But we need to start picking and choosing and finding some days that are pretty weak and seeing what kind of great companies we can buy 3 for the price of 2.
That's right. Buy it for the cash on the books, things like that.
If you're looking for yield, you want income, you want a big dividend, hey, buy the stock right, and it's going to increase that yield. So there's lots of great opportunities out there.
Yep, absolutely. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about those, we can talk to you individually, but appreciate your guys' time today so very much. Aaron, you got any last words before we wrap up today?
No, just everybody stay positive. We're getting close. Things have already happened. They've already happened. Now let's look forward.
Yeah, time to get excited. So appreciate each of you spending time with us today. Again, Matt Ervin and Aaron Kennedy on Black and White Market Minute on Life Planning 101.
Thank you for joining us for Life Planning 101, brought to you by Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services. If you have questions, you can email them to lifeplanning@kennedy-financial.com. Be sure to tune in next week for more Life Planning 101. The opinions expressed herein are those of the firm and are subject to change without notice. The opinions referenced are as of the date of publication and are subject to change due to changes in the market or economic conditions and may not necessarily come to pass. Any opinions, projections, or forward-looking statements expressed herein are solely those of the author, may differ from the views or opinions expressed by other areas of the firm, and are only for general informational purposes as of the date indicated. Securities offered through Calton and Associates Incorporated, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Smart Money Group LLC. Kennedy Financial Services and Smart Money Group LLC are separate entities and are not owned or controlled by Calton and Associates Incorporated.